Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to start this session into the front so we can see clearly and hear more clearly. Thank you so much. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to this PMAC side meeting on health policy and system research, marking the silver jubilee of the International Health Policy Program Foundation and the launch of the PMAC Strategic Institute. My name is Chompunut Topothai or Pink. I'm a medical doctor at the Department of Health, Ministry of Public Health, Thailand, a research fellow at IHPP Foundation, and a PhD candidate at South Hawk School of Public Health, National University of Singapore.
Thank you, Dr. Ping. My name is Thitikorn Topothai or Cham. I'm also a medical doctor at the DOH and a research fellow at IHPP Foundation and a PhD candidate at NUS. We are honored to serve as your MC for this session.
Today's side meeting has two connected parts. The first part focuses on health policy and system research, or HPSR, and the 25th anniversary of the IHPP Foundation, recognizing its contributions to advancing HPSR nationally and globally. The second part is the launch of the PMAC Strategic Institute, which aims to strengthen collaboration and support for the next generation of policy leaders and researchers.
To begin today's side meeting, we would like to pause and remember the late Dr. Praved Wasi, whose vision, leadership, and moral authority have profoundly shaped health policy and systems in Thailand and beyond.
Professor Emeritus Dr. Praved Wasi dedicated his entire life to social transformation. As a physician, thinker, and reformer, he looked beyond curing disease toward healing society as a whole. He began as a clinical scientist, gaining global recognition for his research on thalassemia. As a world-class hematologist, his deep understanding of biological systems provided a unique perspective for national reform. He focused beyond the lab to lead the Faculty of Medicine at Sirirat Hospital, using his academic rigor to empower rural doctors and bridge the gap in healthcare. Building on this leadership, Dr. Praved expanded his sphere of influence into public health. Working alongside dedicated colleagues at the Ministry of Public Health, he championed health system reform, striving to ensure that every person in Thailand receives equitable, comprehensive, and dignified health care. In 1981, he was honored with the Raman Magsaysay Award, often referred to as the Nobel Prize of Asia. This prestigious recognition celebrated his commitment to using medical sciences as a tool for strengthening social justice, demonstrating that true wisdom lies in transforming the lives of the underserved. This expertise made him a master architect of national health reform. Through the Rose Garden Group, a dedicated circle of rural doctors who have met for over 30 years with a shared vision for reform, he fostered numerous social innovations that have reshaped the nation's healthcare landscape. He designed various independent statutory bodies, the SAW family organizations, which have become the backbone of Thailand's health system, in addition to the bureaucratic Ministry of Public Health. His far vision innovated a democratic platform for participatory public policy formulation through the National Health Assembly, where policy is shaped by the collective wisdom of the people. To achieve structural reform, Dr. Praved laid a powerful intellectual foundation, the triangle that moves the mountain, which proposes that even the most entrenched challenges can be overcome by combining all three pillars of power: wisdom, policy, and society. This foundation has deeply influenced young intellectuals, public health practitioners, active citizens, and health policy and systems researchers both in Thailand and beyond. It has resonated widely beyond Thailand. To turn this wisdom into systemic change through the Rockefeller Foundation Scholarship, Dr. Prawesh provided an opportunity to a young physician for doctoral training, health economics and financing at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, who was supervised by Professor Anne Mills. A few years after returning to Thailand, that physician, Dr. Wirosh Tungcharozithien, who received this pivotal support, co-founded IHPP Foundation in 2001. IHPP gradually became a cornerstone institution dedicated to strengthening the power of wisdom through research and capacity building of young researchers in ensuring that health policies are consistently informed by evidence and social realities. In 2024, this long journey of collective action was honored with the Raman Magsaysay Award. Known as a long march for the poor from community to policy, the rural doctor movement stands as a testament to how sustained, informal collaboration can create lasting change. On January 10, 2026, this great man passed away peacefully at home. At the age of 94, while his life's journey came to an end, his wisdom and inspiration remain clear and resonant for generations who continue to follow in his footsteps. He was a figure who integrated medicine, compassion, and wisdom to move society forward.
Thank you. This video reminds us that Dr. Prawesh's legacy is not about ideas or institutions, but about values to serve society. And these values continue to guide IHPP's work today. Following this reflection, it is our great honor to invite Dr. Vichan Panit, Chairman of the IHPP Foundation, to deliver the opening remarks. Dr. Vichan, please.
Distinguished guests, colleagues from across the globe, and dear friends. My heart is full as I stand before you today. Looking across this room, I see more than just academics and policymakers. I see the architects of a healthier, more equitable world. We gather here for a truly special occasion, a moment to celebrate the legacies and efforts of countless people over the decades, and to chart a course for the future for our current and future generations. 25 years ago, the International Health Policy Program Foundation was born from a simple belief that health policies should be rooted in evidence. The foundation set out to be a bridge, a trusted institution for health policy and systems research, connecting the sphere of academic knowledge to the world of policy and decision making. As we reflected moments ago during the tribute to Professor Prawesh Wasi, our journey has always been guided by the triangle that moves the mountain. The synergy of knowledge, social movement, and political will. Today's program is designed to mirror that journey. Today, we not only look back and reflect, we also look ahead at a rapidly changing world. From the climate crisis and shifting demographics to the rapid evolution of technology, the challenges we face are not isolated, they are systemic. In these times of uncertainty, our policies must be anchored in a reliable, system-wide evidence. We will dive into sustainable capacity, underscoring that real power lies in people, networks, and environments. We will also hear the stories from stakeholders who have helped shape evidence-informed policies, turning concepts into tangible realities that improve well-being of societies. We have with us today researchers, policymakers, practitioners, academics, and students, sharing their insights and fostering collaboration towards more resilient, equitable, and sustainable health systems. Most importantly, we look toward the future with the exciting formal launch of the PMAC Strategic Institute, a platform for year-round policy engagement and innovation, a continuous movement of action, and a trusted space for resource and knowledge sharing and capacity building that is enduring. I ask you to hold on to one thought today. Take pride in how far you have come, but have faith in how far you can go. Thank you for being part of our journey thus far. Let us celebrate the wisdom we have gathered and the future we can build together. I formally welcome you all to this momentous forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vijan, for your insightful remarks.
Now we are pleased to invite our keynote speaker, Professor Ann Mills, an internationally recognized leader in health policy and system research. Professor Ann will deliver a keynote address on the global HPSR movement and the role of IHPP. Professor Ann, please.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, distinguished friends, guests, thank you to IHPP for inviting me to speak at this wonderful occasion. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate IHPP on its 25th birthday. Can you move on to my presentation, please? Thank you. In these remarks, sorry. Should look at what I've got in front of me. In these remarks, I want to reflect on the origins of health policy and systems research and reflect on Thailand's achievements, hopefully as a lead-in to the next session. So, first of all, on the origins of health policy and systems research. My colleague at the London School, Martin Gorski, who is a historian, has explored the origins of health systems and health systems research. The use of the word system to denote interconnectedness of bodily organs emerged in the 18th century. By the 1860s, one can see its application to areas of governance and administration, such as education and sanitation, describing interrelated parts, buildings, staff, and delineated spheres of public policy. If you look at this engram on the right, showing the occurrence of the term health systems. You can see that in the 1930s and 1940s, it became a bit more visible, but it really escalated in the 1960s and 70s because of the work of people like Odin Anderson, Brian Abel-Smith, and Milton Romer. In terms of health systems research, this emerged in the US and the UK in the early 1960s under the name health services research, and indeed health services and health systems research both continued at the same time. And at that time, there was earmarked research funding for health services research and dedicated journals and conferences in the UK and US, for example. Comparative health systems, health services research appeared from the late 1960s. In terms of global health policy and systems research, a key landmark was the 1996 report, Investing in Health Research and Development, produced by the Ad Hoc Committee on Health Research. And this recommended promoting and strengthening health policy and systems research. The Norwegian and Swedish members of that group agreed to facilitate the development of a proposal at what is called the Leondal meeting, that maybe there are some others in the audience who were there. And then the Alliance for Health Policy and Systems Research was established in 1999 as a partnership with WHO and a forum for health policy and systems research and user communities. And the alliance in its formulation was deliberately broad, rather broader than health services research in the UK, for example. There's policy in its title to indicate not just research for policy, but also research on policy. The alliance encompasses the global level as an area of interest, because for low and middle income countries, which were its focus, the global level is especially important in influencing the developments. And then thirdly, the alliance included the broader determinants of health in its remit, again, because of a long history of emphasizing these in global policy. Despite the persisting usage of health systems research and health services research in the literature, these terms generally mean the same thing. The description of the field of health policy and systems research that you see here on the slide was developed for the UK National Institute for Health Research funding programme on health policy and systems research, and it was developed by the co-chairs of the funding panel, Irene Agyapong from Ghana, Kabir Sheikh, India Now UK, myself, and Cara Hansen as the NIHR Global Health Programme Director. And it describes the field in two different ways. One is distinguishing between the hardware and the software. The hardware, for example, in the terminology of the building blocks of a health system or other categorization systems, and the software in terms of ideas, interests, values, norms, relationships, and the distribution of power, reflecting, again, this interest in the policy process. And then I personally find this description of the levels of the health system extremely useful. It was, I think, a categorization that first developed from my colleagues in the UK, distinguishing between the micro level, the level of individuals and their behavior in delivering and using services within the system, the meso level, the organizational level, and then the macro level, the national and global policy and systems environment. Looking back at the birth of the Alliance for Health Policy and Systems Research, it's evident that there was limited low and middle income country representation in that process of development, I think largely reflecting relatively limited capacity across low and middle income countries at that time. But Thailand, even at that time, was an exception. There was early recognition of the importance of what became known as health policy and systems research, and I'll say a bit more about that later. There were substantial efforts to increase capacity. And the example of Thailand, I think, is really helpful for other low and middle income countries. The diagram here reflects what I see as critical elements in the capacity building process. at the top, the experience of applied health research. Down on the left, the production of well-trained researchers who are committed to applied health research. On the right, at the bottom, the well-informed decision makers who, along with the researchers, agree on priority health topics. And then the fourth element at the top right, the creation of institutions to sustain capacity, help use research. So what I want to do is illustrate this diagram from the perspective of my own organisation, my own engagement with Thailand. And by focusing on our experience in working in Thailand, I don't want to imply in any way that we were the only external partner engaged in supporting Thailand. There were obviously other agencies as well. But this is my personal knowledge of how this capacity was built up, which I think is of interest. So firstly, to talk about the programme of applied health research that was developed over time. I've labelled this IHPP, but in the early decades, of course, it was individuals later involved in IHPP rather than IHPP itself, which was founded a bit later in the process. So right at the early stages in the 1980s, I myself first came to Thailand in 1980, and one of the things I was asked to do was look at the equity of distribution of the free medical care budget. And somewhat later in that decade, Dr. Virok came to do his PhD on community financing in urban areas. So even in the 1980s, there was identification of topics that were important to future health systems development. And I found it interesting looking over this period of 40 years, how universal health coverage emerges as a theme encompassing all the major topics that we were working on through those 40 years. Probably a very early concept of universal health coverage in the early years, but firming up through the 1990s. After that early work in the 1980s, in the 1990s, through myself, the funding we had from the UK government, we were able to build up a range of applied research, looking, for example, at voluntary health insurance schemes and how well they worked, at their equity, at the relative performance of public and private hospitals, and evaluating contracting and purchasing arrangements, and governance and organisation arrangements. And those were through some well-funded research programmes with Thailand and with other international partners. Looking forward to looking forward then to the early 2000s, when universal health coverage was established, we were then able to mount shared research programs looking, for example, at the payment mechanisms within universal health coverage and the performance differences between insurance schemes and the scope for harmonising. And by that time, we had UK government-funded research consortia involving a number of partners in Africa and Asia, all examining similar topics and enabling cross-country learning. Increasingly, and I'll say a bit more about this in a moment, PhD training was very much integrated into this applied research programme. And increasingly over the years, these topics I list here were those of PhD students. And then finally, in the most recent decade, there's been more work on helping to refine the rules and regulations and the benefit package of universal health coverage, looking, for example, PhD on the access to healthcare for migrants, looking at how to manage high-cost conditions, concerns about compulsory licensing, concerns about sustainability. The second area of well-trained researchers, looking back at it, I think there were three key elements in the process of producing well-trained researchers. First of all, the training in Thailand and externally, MSc and PhD. Secondly, postdoc research experience and support. And thirdly, research leadership experience. So right at the level of training, we were fortunate to receive excellent candidates for training in London, and they also went elsewhere. And there was also some internal development of master's programs and PhD programs. I've always said for many years that I would have liked Thailand to have developed more of its own training capacity. And I remain surprised that, though pleased, that we are still getting Thai students to train for PhDs in London. Something I think to set as an aim for the future to strengthen your PhD training. But what we were able to do was support the programs within Thailand and also ensure that those students who came to us did their PhDs in Thailand, did their fieldwork in Thailand, and also, at least for the last 20 years, we've ensured that the supervisory team always has a Thai representative. And I have also served on the committee of locally registered students. So after the initial training, the postdoc research experience and support is really important. And again, with the research program consortia we had, we were fortunate that it was possible for postdocs to get experience on those research programs and also to be exposed to researchers from other countries, all part of these cross-country research programs. And I think that is really an invaluable stage of researcher development. And then finally, I think really important for Thailand is how those students who've gone through the PhD, through the postdoc research experience, have emerged as research leaders in their own right. And we've been able to support that through having them lead elements of consortia, through facilitating access to international opportunities like experience on funding panels, which is really important. And then those individuals have progressed to program and unit leadership within Thailand. I mentioned that PhD training has been really important, and I think that's not always the case in countries that you train PhDs from those countries and they return to their country to build up substantial capacity. But it's certainly been the case in Thailand, and I think for a number of reasons. These are all the Thai PhD students that I've had the pleasure of either supervising as lead supervisor, co-lead, or advisory committee. You'll see a number of familiar faces here. I think this really reflects the quality of the students that I was sent. I know that, again, an important lesson for other countries, that there was a careful selection process. I knew that those students who came to me would have good first initial training. I knew that they would have had some experience of applied health research already with IHPP. And so they came well prepared for what is quite an onerous process of working through a PhD in a foreign language. And I was very fortunate, and as you can see, many of them, they've all stayed working in health policy and systems research, I think, and many of them are now your current leaders. A third really critical element in this research capacity strengthening was knowledgeable demand from decision makers. And again, that's not something that one sees everywhere. There was really early Thai policymaker interest in health economics and health systems development. For example, I ran a seminar on health economics and health financing in the mid-1980s, and there was very strong representation at that time from some young leaders from the Ministry of Public Health. One or two are here, certainly here in the audience. And also PhD training in health systems started with Dr. Virot coming to London in the late 1980s. And then in the 1990s, there was a series of international workshops on healthcare reform convened by the Ministry of Health here in Thailand with the help of EU programs and led by Dr. Sangwan. And again, I found it interesting to reflect back. At the time, I was involved in helping with those workshops, but it was clear that at that time, the concepts of universal health coverage were emerging, that Thailand was learning from other countries and producing books like the ones listed here on the slide, indicating what experience has been elsewhere in the world and what Thailand can learn and what are some of the major decisions Thailand has to take in relation to universal health coverage. And then I think really interesting to note also that the PhD graduates in health systems research entered both research and decision-making careers. And normally I wouldn't really be recommending a PhD, or at least a British PhD, for someone who wants to go into a Ministry of Public Health, for example, because there are other skills they need besides a research skill. But I think it's been particularly valuable within Thailand and also has helped some of the mobility between research activities and policy making, and I'll mention that a bit more at the end. And then fourthly, a really critical process in Thailand has been the institutionalization of health systems research and in the evidence to policy process. And there are a variety of new institutions that are being created as part of the health policy system and research ecosystem. And I name probably just some of them here: the Hospital Accreditation Institute, the Health Interventions and Technology Assessment Programme, HITAP, the International Health Policy Programme itself, the Health Systems Research Institute, the National Health Security Office as the governing body of universal health coverage. In thinking about these new institutions, I looked back at an analysis, a study that was done. It was led by Sarah Bennett, which Vera was involved in, and other colleagues, looking at reasons for the success or failure of health policy institutes in low and middle income countries. And that paper suggests some factors that are more likely to ensure that these policy institutes are sustainable and successful. And I used that to think about the experience of Thailand, and the points are made here on this slide. They need to be domestically driven. And I think that has always been the case. I've always been coming to Thailand as an advisor, not as someone to tell them what to do. You've been very well able to develop your own ideas on what to do. So it's been strongly domestically driven. It's not reliant on external funding. External funding has been helpful, but one of the features of my relationships with Thailand is that Thailand's often been in a position of being able to put some of its own funding into the research activities. It's produced strong and well-trained leadership retained within the country. I think all of those individuals that you saw photos a few minutes ago, I think they're all still within Thailand. But on the other hand, they're not insular. They are very well connected nationally, globally, regionally as part of networks. And of course, there's the engagement that Thailand has had with WHO, which I won't speak about, but which is a real demonstration of the capacity here in Thailand. And then there have been fluid boundaries, as I just mentioned before, between researchers and policy entrepreneurs. You have a somewhat varying policy environment here in Thailand, and it's been notable how these fluid boundaries between researchers and policy entrepreneurs has helped to retain the sustainable institution despite the various political changes over time. So, congratulations again. Thank you, because I've had an absolutely wonderful 46 years or whatever it's been since I first came to Thailand. I've been really delighted to support Thailand in its ambitions for universal health coverage, for the health systems research capacity. And I wish IHPP a similarly successful next 25 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Anne. Oh, it's unbelievable that you supervise almost 16 PhD candidates from Thailand. And I think we are really lucky, Dr. Cham, that
Absolutely.
Yeah, today we hear the origin of HPSR. It's very important to make us understand why HPSR is important and what can we contribute in the future as researchers and also policymakers. I think half of your PhD candidates sit here in this room and will contribute to this session later.
So we are now moving to our first session, a panel discussion on sustainable capacity for global health policy and system research, which Dr. Ping, I think, is one of the highlights of this side meeting.
Yes. It is our pleasure to invite a moderator of this session, You now see who is moderator. Very well-known person, Dr. Suwit Vibhun Prasad. Dr. Suwit is recognized as an international leader in health diplomacy and health system strengthening with extensive experience bridging research, policy, and global collaboration. He is also our respected and beloved mentor. Are you ready, Dr. Suwit?
Okay, please give a big applause to Dr. Suwit.
Thank you, Dr. Cham and Dr. Pok. Both of them are IHPP fellow, about to finish their PhD. When our staff approached Dr. Cham, the husband, hey, please come to moderate this session, to do with the MC. He said, oh, I don't think I'm appropriate. When my staff informed me, I approached Dr. Pink, and she said yes. So my staff didn't learn. When you want a man to do something, you approach his wife. And once his wife says yes, settle, everything settle. Actually, I plan to tell them that if they won't accept, I'll tell YY to delay their graduation. Anyway, Margaret, please. Keso, please. You don't need any introduction. And Dr. Kasem, please. I won't introduce Margaret and Keso. I will only say a brief about Dr. Kasem. He's our boss. He's the Chief Technical Officer of the Ministry of Health of Thailand. Long year as rural doctor. How many years you work in the rural hospital, Dr. Kasem? 24 years. If you want to assess how wise a doctor in Thailand is, you assess how long they work in rural area. They have to work for 3 years, compulsory. Those who are wisest immediately leave after 3 years to train as specialists. Mine is 8 years, much better than him. We wrote 11 years, worse than me. So at least I'm okay. Dr. Kasem is the Chief Technical Officer. His job is to support health research, including health system research, in the Ministry of Health. Margaret, this morning you talk a lot about Thailand on global health. This session is not just on health system research, but on global health as well. You mentioned that Thailand, conquer the World Health, your World Health Assembly with 50, 60 fellow going to her World Health Assembly every year. Do you think that this is sustainable? Do you think that Thailand can continue to do like that? And do you think that other developing countries can do like that?
I don't have the answer.
You have the microphone?
I don't have the answer. Now that I am not working in WHO, I don't know. That is the correct answer. But, Anne, can I take issue with you? Virosh was primed to be an ADG in my administration. And he said, no. Now I understand the reason. It's all because of Anne Mills. No, honestly, I'm very happy that Virosh turned me down. The fact of the matter is, you return to your own country to continue to develop is important. So, well done. Even though you said no to me, oh why? What is your question? I already he said, I don't know.
No, you give me new information. I thought Wilod declined because of his wife. Because he is very obedient to his wife, but Margaret was not the first person first senior WHO person to approach Wilod to get him to the WHO. He always say no immediately. But when Margaret approached him, he said, "Give me 7 days to decide." My heart went down to my knee. I thought, this time I will lose him, for sure. But after just 2 days, he came back to me and copied me an email, a very nice email to Margaret to say no. So I thought, oh, thank you to his wife. No, today I have to thank Anne.
I am grateful for those 2 days.
You see, another IHPP fellow who was asked to work with the WHO. And after a few years, he learned that he cannot do much there. Even though he is the second person in the regional office, Dr. Meg over there. He came back. He came back because he said the hope is at the country. So sustainable global health and sustainable health system is at the country. Do you agree, Keso? Or do you think that it is in the donor's hand?
Actually, I don't understand the reason why I was chosen as a panelist here. I'm politicians, political practitioners, and my background is political science. But I listened to Anne's wonderful explanation about the IHPP, this wonderful foundation. Unfortunately, in Japan's case, medical sciences originally came from Germany, and the public health is a small part of the medical school. Therefore, even after the war, the public health and health systems research has not been developed in this framework of the medical school. This is quite unfortunate things. That's the reason why I have a jealous to Thailand, having such a wonderful foundation for health systems research. This is my answer.
And you are the one who bring JICA in with the GROW USC program. Since 7-8 years ago, that bring Japan and Thailand closer for capacity building on global health and health system research. And not only build capacity, Japan and Thailand work together at the global level, at the World Health Assembly and the UNGA, to propose and to pass UNGA resolution on global health. This man is the one who created, one of the founder of the Global Fund, because he chaired the Okinawa G7 summit that started the idea of tackling infectious disease. All these contribute to the health policy, health system research capacity. Actually, not only in Thailand. What Anne mentioned is happened in many countries. IHPP is just one example. Now I go to my boss, Dr. Kasem. He is the chief. Dr. Kasem, you oversee IHPP, at least for a while. What do you think? Is it contribute well? Is it contribute to the Ministry of Health well? Is it going to survive? Please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I think when I have experience with HPP program, I think HPP now is the not public. I mean, in the Ministry of Health, where we have public sector and non-public sectors. And HPP Foundation, I think this foundation is very strong. And with the limitation of the public sectors, when we launch the thesis, we meet the problems of the law and regulation. For example, for the how to process, how to disbursement. And this can be the obstacles of the researchers. And many of them stop doing research. So for me, I think HPP, we have so many foundations and so many institutes, for example, HPP HITAP, Health Innovation and Technology Assessment Program. And we also have a Health System Research Institute and other academic sectors that have done the research on health policy and system. So the combination and collaboration among these institutions, while IHPP can be the center to connect of these partners together and launch the policy that were took by the policymakers. That's why Thailand will have launched Universal Health Coverage Program. And not only the Universal Health Coverage, we also apply health technical assessment for the health benefit package in the scheme as well, so that we can be confident enough that what we have launched, what the benefit package that we have done is efficient to invest. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. There are two unique things for the Thai Ministry of Health. First, they allow their civil servant to be the Secretary General of a private foundation at the same time. At the same time, Virod used to be the Secretary General of IHPP Foundation. Me too, I'm the first one. But we receive only salary from the Ministry of Health. But they allow us to work both. So you are a civil servant and an NGO at the same time. And they provide space. Ministry of Health provides space for many foundations within the Ministry of Health. Free space, free utility, free, security, everything free. That reduce our cost and allow us to do more. Margaret, you used to be in the World Health Organization. You know 193 countries. Is there any other country like this that allowed civil servants to become NGO at the same time and give NGO space and facilities to work in the Ministry of Health?
Thailand is the only one I know of.
Then it cannot survive. It means that it's exceptional. Exceptional means you cannot survive. So how can you make it a norm?
Sustainability is an issue, isn't it? We all hear Suet talking about death today. He is talking about WHO is going to die.
It's already dead.
Half dead.
Standing dead.
I don't know the answer. Thailand, as I said this morning, is only one member state, a very important one. But you mentioned the word 193 countries. Countries are different. Can you imagine what recent events who shall remain nameless. Right? The V word and the green word, oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to say that.
As a former DT.
Make this world very difficult. But PMAC will survive. Let's tease it out. Why? What is the size of PMAC now? I still remember the time when I was still working in WHO. You invited me, or whoever has invited me, to officiate the first PMAC meeting. That was some 20 years ago, right? And you have grown. You are given resources for about 500 people. And yet, you have been able to draw, from what I heard from Suet, 16,000 people. 1,600, right? Plus online, how many? A total of 300 people.
3,000.
I said 300 because I know you will correct me. PMAC will survive. Why? We need PMAC. PMAC is all about sustainability. It's all about inclusiveness. It's all about equity, isn't it? Where else can you find it now? Not in the North countries. Not in Europe. Sorry, Anne. To me, Asia is the answer. Asia Pacific is even better, isn't it?
I don't know.
You know, we are doing pretty good. Either he said, I don't know, or I said, I don't know. To be frank with you, this is a very, very difficult time for the world. But we must tough it out, okay? Asia, if you listen to the former Minister of Foreign Affairs in Singapore, he says, if you look at the world's population, right? You know which one I'm talking about. Size matters, okay? Size matters. That's all I want to say.
Size matter, and small is beautiful. Right? Why? Yeah. Small is beautiful. Small is Beautiful is a book written by an economist, E.F. Schumacher, talking about Buddhist economist. Buddhist economic. The neoclassic economic concept is that people has unlimited want. Economists will tell the policymaker how to distribute limited resource to fulfill unlimited want. The Buddhist economists say, no, that's wrong. We must limit the want. We must not let the want become unlimited, because no matter how much resources, you'll never be able to cope with that. Okay, so You know, Margaret talked about PMAC. PMAC is organized partly by IHPP. IHPP is the technical arm of PMAC. And it is KESO who brought JICA into co-hosting the PMAC. Initially, JICA was a bit, hesitant. Japanese is always like this. It's difficult to convince them in. But because of KESO, they move in quite fast. Now we want to persuade them out, they say no. It's very difficult to persuade them out, more than to persuade them in. How come you want JICA to be co-host of PMAC?
It's very clear that the health is not only a domestic issue. Health always has a common issue beyond the national boundary. The JICA is a very important technical agency for our ODA. Inevitably have to collaborate with the foreign partners to create those network for sharing experiences and create the new, much more effective collaboration among the key players. In order to do that, we should have those platform in the region as a whole. And then the PMAC became it. That's all. But SWIT, the title of the session means Sustainable Capacity for Global Health Policy and System Research.
Yes, I know.
My staff, gave me several talking points.
You are better than me. I have nothing.
All three of them was informed by me that there is no, maybe my staff communicate wrong thing to them. I told them that I will not tell them in advance what question they will face. Because these people, they can answer any question in the world. With the wisdom, we want the wisdom. We don't want the staff text. The staff text is easy, but the wisdom is extraction directly.
But I do realize that this, the title of the Sustainable Capacity for Global Health Policy is decisively important at this moment.
So please say something.
Everybody, at the first stage, we talk about the health system, and the regional and global, and the geographical scope is one of the key subjects, bilateral and multilateral, right? But now recently, we quite often talk about multi-sectoral. And as far as we are talking to create the real effective collaboration among the multi-sectoral, the systems research have to get into the new stage of the multidisciplinary approaches. For example, in this, side meeting of the PMAC, some guys, the academic background is the architectures, urban planning and housing. And those, the experts are now became a very important part of the public health policy making. In order to do that, who should be prepared for those academic bases for the decision making and for the basis for the collaboration each other? Now that so many medical schools are changing quite a lot. Original medical school, the purpose is to produce the medical practitioners, right? But now that the medical sciences itself has been changing and try to introduce many other factors and disciplines, and then the concept of the public health has been widened so rapidly recently. Now the system engineering, it became a very important part of the medical sciences. Therefore, now the several medical school is now thinking how to redesign the medical school based on the conceptual framework of the medical science and system engineering. Now we are entering into such sort of a totally different dimension for this health systems research. That's maybe you should ask me.
Okay. The conclusion is, when there is still the demand, health system research will continue to survive. I have to let my sister Margaret Chan go because she is going to attend the royal ceremony of the Prince Maidon Award in the Royal Grand Palace. If I don't let her go and reach there in time, there will be no more PMAC and there will be no more IHPP. So before you leave, give us the last word of wisdom.
What was your question?
Last, whatever you want to say. Last word.
I am so happy to be able to attend the IHPP Silver Jubilee. And I wish you, like Anne, another 25 years to go. Now that you have selected, can I say some? No. Ankara, where are you? Yeah. A woman. That's very important for me. And for those men like you who believe in the wife, that's also important.
I don't believe in my wife. I am obedient. You can be obedient without belief. Because belief you may not survive, but obedient you survive. Thank you so much. Okay. I will open the floor soon for you to raise your hand and come to the mic to ask difficult questions to Keso and to Dr. Kasem, and also to other people here. We are interactive. This is a session to learn, to share. It's not a session to inform. Because we all have experience of building some institutes, and we want the institute to continue to survive and contribute. How can we share our experience? Dr. Kasem, you are the Chief Technical Officer. And now IHPP is 25 years. Dr. Margaret said she is quite convinced that we'll have another 25 years. What do you think? You live that long to see it?
I hope so. For IHPP, I think this institute has a very strong components. For example, it is the foundation that can train the health system research, health policy research. And that is the future of the country. I think when we develop researchers from local health authority, when they learn what they have experience with their health service, they have some vision that when they go bigger, what they can do for the countries. I think HPP is one of the main institute that can provide the new researcher with efficient. And for the Ministry of Health, I think the relationship and the collaboration between the public health, Ministry of Public Health, and the foundation, I think it still have to be everlasting. And this what can MOPH can afford or support the HPP? I think that is the policy of our leaders as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It's quite convincing, right? Because the Ministry of Health is the main supporter of IHPP, not in cash, but in kind, in the space, in social and intellectual capital, in linkage to the policy. Sometimes IHPP does not, go along very well with the policy, but they find some way to, negotiate, to reconcile. Okay. Now the floor is open. We have, 20 minutes, right? Dr. Po and Cham, how many minutes do I have? More? Or already gone?
Maybe only 5.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Okay. 2 questions. Here. Is there any female? I give 1 male and 1 female. I have 1 male here. Is there any female? No? Okay, I give 2 male. Don't blame me, those ladies. Don't blame me. I give you the chance.
Thank you. So my question takes us back to something that Professor Mills said at the opening of this session. I'll try and quote Professor Mills' apologies that I didn't catch every word, but you said, "I remain surprised that we still receive great PhD candidates from Thailand at LSHTM, and that the PhD program capacity in Thailand hasn't retained those students here, and that is a challenge for the future." My question to the panel is, how best do you think that challenge can be addressed? And then a sub-question, what can organizations like the Wellcome Trust, which is the organization I am privileged to work for in the equity department, what can we do to best support that? Thank you.
Wow, this is an excellent question. Because the funding agency want to do something. Okay, second question, please.
Hi, I'm Farizal from Indonesia, and a lot of Indonesia innovation is actually inspired by Thailand and also the IHPP. I tried to build something like an Institute for Research for Indonesia, and it's inspired by young generation, but it's pretty hard for young generation to push forward maybe the older one, or try to combine all the resource to. So I want to have a question like how the IHPP and how the young generation can try to build something like this for other LMIC too. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so this is nothing about Japan, but you can answer. Give us some wisdom.
It's very important the younger generations as such incentives to work for the health-related issues, in the public and the private sectors. And then when they have such incentives, it should have the place to take lessons and learn in a much more systematic manner. At that time, in case of the Thailand, you have a wonderful, those are the educational system, including IHPP, for those other younger generations. This is a wonderful combination, and this, in addition to that, the Anne mentions that you closely collaborate with the London School of Hygiene and those, the external, the system of the collaboration of this educational system and research. It is inevitable for any those health systems research institute in any countries should have those the external collaborations beyond the national boundaries, and then can survive. Therefore, original framework is wonderful. That's one of the reasons of the success of the IHPP. And then the IHPP has always, refreshed because of the participation from the younger generation. And always you can give the incentives. But in order to give the real incentives for those younger generations, you always have to think those new, the multi-sectoral framework, and then widen the discipline itself to absorb those the intellectual incentives to contribute for. So this is the wonderful, the place to take lessons.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so much. That's a valuable advice, Dr. Ankana. Take good note of that. Dr. Kasem?
Yes, I think when in Thailand we face the problem of a shortage of the researcher as well. Because the incentive for the new researcher or young researcher, if we compare, for example, for the medical doctors, they can earn much more than their researcher, especially in health policy and system research. So how can do nurturing? For my experience that I have known so many researchers on health system and policy, most of them used to work in the remote area. And I think when they faced with the problem of the patients and family, when they got sick, and what is the hardship that they have got, I think they can be inspired by that situation. And that's why so many researchers, at the former, I think Dr. Virod and so many people, they used to have that experience and that inspire them, that what they can do for the poor people, I think. So the inspiration first is very important. Yeah, I think. And the one thing that I think is important as well is how to nurture them, because to do research is not easy. It's not easy. What is the methodology, how to, especially in the medical doctor, we are not good at explain because we are science. In study, we are not, sin, art, we are not art. So when we have to explain or do something, it's difficult for me as well. When I studied master degree, it's very difficult for me to explain. But I'm okay with the calculation. So how to nurture? Nurture, we have to have the mentor that can help them to guide them how to do. And one more thing that I think important as well, about the law regulation in the public sector. I think this is the obstacles for the new researcher, especially for the civil servants. So in Thailand, we have a foundation. That is another way that civil servants can continue their research, and they can earn some benefit. It's not much, but that can be some incentive for them to do that, what they inspire. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Indeed, IHPP Foundation pay peanut to researcher as compared to private sector, as compared to what they can earn from private sector. But what they earn is their great feeling of achievement when they present their research, and their research was used to make decisions which change the life of the people. So they feel proud, they feel valuable, and they also have the chance to meet with all people like you, and go to international meeting, make presentation, and join governing body of many local and international organizations, make intervention, change the decision, make a resolution. These are social and intellectual return, which can supplement the high money. This kind of thing they cannot get from the private sector. You may ask whether we have lost some of them. No, not some, many. We lost many of them to the private sector, particularly those we produced the fellow PhD for high-tech, because the pharmaceutical industry want these people to do economic evaluation to convince us to include into the benefit package. See, so they pay them high, much higher than we pay them. But those who still stay, they stay with their heart. And this morning, someone mentioned about trust as a new currency. That is what we have been building for decades, build trust in the system. I'd like to thank my big brother, Keso. Whatever about global health in Japan, you have any problem about global health in Japan, you just talk to Keso, and if he is convinced, tomorrow everything get done instead of 3 years. And if you have anything about research in the Ministry of Health, you go to Dr. Kasem. At least today you know two connections. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suwit, Dr. Kasem, and Dr. Keso for this interactive and rich discussion.
We believe that the opening remark, the keynote address, and also this session will give you a good introduction to HPSR and also the contribution of IHPP to Thailand HPSR movement. So we will now move to session 2, reflecting on the past, present, and the future of IHPP Foundation and its contribution over the past 25 years, from evidence generation to policy impact at national and global levels. This session, we will bring together IHPP key stakeholders to share reflections on institutional roles, lessons learned, and future directions.
We are pleased to invite our 4 speakers for this session. The first is Dr. Thaksapon Thammarangsi, Chief Representative and Director, Chinese Medical Board, Bangkok Office. Next is Dr. Nithiwat Sangreung, the Deputy Secretary General, National Health Security Office. Please, Dr. Wai. And next is Dr. Jintana Jankotkaew, Researcher, International Health Policy Program Foundation. Please, Dr. Lin. And finally, Dr. Pongthep Wongwachara Phaiboon, the CEO of Thai Health Promotion Foundation. Please, Dr. Boy.
We will now start with the first speaker to reflect on IHPP roles on global health. May I invite Dr. Thaksapon Thammarangsi or Dr. Meg. He is former IHPP director and also former WHO Zero director to share his reflections. Dr. Meg, please.
Thank you, Dr. Cham and Dr. Champunut, Ajahn Vichan, Professor Mill, Professor Takemi, brother, sister, friends, colleagues. It's my honor to stand before you today. My journey with International Health Policy Program, IHPP, began many years ago, and the lesson I learned there continue to shape my worldview. To understand where IHPP is going, I find myself reflecting on where it began for me. Back around 2003, I was tasked with interviewing many informants for a research project. During one interview, a gentleman stopped me and asked, "Is your organization, IHPP, a government body?" Thinking I was providing a most official, most credible answer, I said, "Yes, we are." And the interview ended right there. He shut down. He didn't want to talk to the government. Lesson learned. For the next informant, I took different approach. I start by asking, what type of agency you prefer to talk to? If they want a research academy, yes, I'm researcher. If they want to influence the state, yes, I'm part of the ministry. And if they want to talk to NGO, yes, you have come to the right person. This fluid identity of amphibian can be both strength and persistent challenge. But more of that, it is more of management opportunity for Thai society. As the problem we want to solve in health system is no less complex than the noodle, right? We need both chopstick and spoon. Colleagues, today I have been tasked to speak on two buzzwords: health policy system research and global health. But rather than defining them, the real question we must ask is what type of HPSR, health policy system research, body does the world actually need, and can IHPP and others meet those requirements? To answer that, we must define what IHPP is. It is an institution governed by the wisdom of Professor Vichan. Institution. Or is it a collection of like-minded individuals following Dr. Virod's vision? Is it an innovative gap filler, a think tank, or a policy broker? To me, no. IHPP is none of those things alone. It is more a system of ideology and value. A collective belief system that built around 4 pillars: evidence, inequity, capacity building, and working together. As an former WHO staff, a hidden competency of the WHO staff, and you may test with any WHO colleague you meet in PMAC, is the ability to create a nice acronym out of thin air. So let me try, redefine IHPP as our core ideologies. First, I, for inequity. In the world where everyone is now a vulnerable population, equity has become a buzzword and often stripped out of action. Even USC, our most powerful social equalizer, might fail in the practice. In many countries, the better off still gain the most through virtual barrier, virtual rationing, and on-street implementation hurdles. Thus, social equity remains the true North Star for our policymaker. I don't have answer, but IHPP might dare to ask the question. Second, H for health information. Effective HPSR is not about making evidence available. It is about making evidence heard and used. As a policy analyst, I have realized that my old training has become more and more obsolete. We used to think that the media is the gatekeeper for policy agenda. Today, everyone is media. Many scholars today are still producing evidence without thinking how it will be used. It is like selling an IKEA furniture without the assembly instruction. We provide parts, but the system cannot put them together. IHPP additional job is to provide the manual also. The third, the first P for potential. How do we promote collective capacity in everyone does everything global health landscape? With hundreds of universities establishing global health units, what is the in-demand niche for IHPP? While we may agree with INNE, individual node network environment concept, we can no longer talk about general capacity of INNE. We must specify the type of excellence required. Finally, the second P for partnership. I do not have all the answer for first I, inequity, H, health information, P, potential. But I do know that partnership, last P, is the only way to find them. I'm talking about mutually respected collective empowerment to address a changing world. That is why you all are here. In the 1970s, Air India had a famous slogan. The campaign is, long after you leave India, India will still be with you. Even though I'm no longer officially associated with the uppercase IHPP, the lowercase IHPP, the ideology, is still with me. On behalf of CMB Foundation, we are proud to support IHPP and the PMAC Strategic Institute initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. May. Dr. May always come with very chic word, very smart abbreviations, and I like the word system of ideology and value that you define HPP.
No, Dr. Ping, I also remember what Dr. Med always said, that once IHPP, always IHPP.
Yeah, and we both are the product of IHPP from Dr. Meg interview.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you so much.
May I now invite Dr. Wai, the Deputy Secretary General of the National Health Security Office, and also the alumni of IHPP Foundation, to share reflections from a universal health coverage, research-driven policy perspective, and IHPP's institutional partnerships and contribution to policy impact. Please, Dr. Wai.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Cham. Distinguished guests, friends, and IHPP family. First of all, I would like to thank IHPP for inviting me to today. As an alumnus, it is a great honor to congratulate IHPP on 25 years of remarkable distribution to not only the Thai but global health system. When asked what IHPP has given to our country, 5 minutes is not enough to describe everything. However, the most stand out is IHPP's role in laying the foundation of universal health coverage. Long time before the National Health Security Office was established. I remember that Dr. Wirod pioneering work on the capitation payment system during the early days of the Social Security scheme. And IHPP initiate the calculation of the UC scheme at 1,202 baht per capita budget at the first day of the Thailand UC scheme. If we look at the triangle that moves the mountain, theory from the late Professor Paret Vasi, it is clear that driving a complex agenda like USC in Thailand will not be possible without the academic support by the IHPP and robust network. The true strength of IHPP is reflected in the country. In correlate evidence informed policy, such as the PD-first policy, the burden of disease study, the National Health Account, or the health workforce retention strategy, etc. Furthermore, IHPP support the establishing HITAP. The HITAP, which created the Health Technology Assessment Framework for the UCS scheme benefit package. Moreover, IHPP has an important role in sharing Thailand's USC journey with the world, helping to build a global health safety net. This journey reached the UNGA agenda and led to the International USC Day. Through scholarly publication and providing technical support to many low and middle income countries, IHPP has truly globalized the Thai expertise. But the most beautiful legacy of the IHPP is capacity building. From established leader like Dr. May Dr. Varaiporn, to the Rising Star Right, Dr. Ankana. IHP acts as a mangrove forest, nurturing the sanctuary for the young researcher to grow before they face the rough sea of the real world. You have ensured that IHP makes health policy and system research not just a cherry on the shelf, but it can eatable and tangible. Looking ahead, I hope I hope to see IHPP stay deeply engaged with the policy work while maintaining its academic integrity and operation flexibility. Okay, in the Thai culture, 25 is the crucial number. I call the Benjapet. Benjapet means 25. Benja from Sanskrit, or Penta in the Latin mean 5. Visa from the Sanskrit mean 20. In the West, this the quarter right crisis. It is a turning point toward becoming a stable and mature adult. What is the future hold for IHPP is a question that only the IHPP family can answer through reflection yourself. As an alumnus, I am fully supported and encouraged. May you continue to do great things for our country and for the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wai. Thank you for reminding us that the research has to be tangible and eatable. Thank you so much.
Dr. Wai is also one of IHPP Research Fellow for a while before he grows to an HSO. Next, we will hear reflections from Dr. Jintanachan Khotkao. She is researcher at IHPP for more than a decade, right? Yeah, almost 2 decades. She will reflect on lessons learned and priorities for the next generation of HPSR. Dr. Lin, please.
Sawadee-ka. Thank you very much. Everyone is a bit excited and scary at the same time. He is my boss who recruited me. I was entered IHPP in 2010 by Dr. Mek, and it's a bit honored to be on the stage with him. I will reflect on my experience over a decade. I entered IHPP when I finished my bachelor degree. So I will scope my talk with which really similar to his style. Incidentally, it's not really copy. Hope, I will follow the talk by Hope. And I start with the heart of evidence is within the people. I selected few of the contribution of IHPP over decades with the heart of IHPP started with the Universal Healthcare Coverage in 2001. And along the way, we try to contribute to the policy research as well as to build the infrastructure in terms of knowledge to the Thai healthcare system. But for my experience, I will give very related with my experience like last year with revising on Alcoholic Beverage Control Act to be more concrete example. I was not as involved as the active member, but I observed my alcohol supervisor, but she is my colleague, Dr. Orathai, involved in the acting as advisory on drafting group of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Act. So it's related with Professor Ann Mill and all of the talk that evidence need to connect with the policy as well as the people with the triangle that move the mountain that we echo. And this is not only the thing that happening at the national level, but we also involve at the global level as we get that knowledge and experience from the global, and then we apply and support at the country level as well. Although from the Dr. Margaret Chan, we hope to get the more legal binding on alcohol, not the weak one like this, and the opportunity to grow inside and outside. Ajahn Sem Rimpongkel started the word I really remember that difficult life is prosperity life, which is, I think, it echo my 15 years at IHP with suffering a lot, but fun actually. And I hope to continue suffering like this. It helped me because difficult life helped you to grow inside. I'm sure that it's applied to everyone and outside as well. Expand in terms of knowledge and also technical skill and other skill that we needed in our life. And the third one is P, which is pay attention to young generation. I just give you very glimpse example that a concrete example that I experienced over the decades, but it's just a few examples. And since 2001, IHPP Foundation has fostered and support to train PhD over 70 PhD and 17 master degrees to the training in IHPP. And this one of the example, Dr. Virod. You will feel like your knowledge is very limited, and also your idea is limited as well. But you learn over the over the work again and again and again, yeah, and then you grow. This is the example. And this, guess whose signature? Oh, yeah, yeah. Past months, I started the work on big data to support the health policy and system. And I said that I'm a technical one, not the people who manage very well. So I will suffer a lot from doing the big project. And then he gave me this concept idea. Because I have only 1 minute, I will not be able to explain the concept idea. If you want to know, I can tell later. And this, I went to the meeting with Dr. Suwit. I know that preparing slide, he can do it by 1 hour, but he gave me opportunity to learn, to shape the idea, and to prepare. I know that spending more time on training me is more difficult than doing himself. I know that, but he still invested time on me. So, yeah. Oh, this one is a secret. I think I'll skip because it is gimmick. It's not the main one. And the last one is energized by the network. I know that working on alcohol, not alcohol, it is in my blood, I think. Working on health system and policy research is very tough. It is time and it is very demanding. We think that we suffer a lot, but by working with people who are more hardworking than us, it gives us energy to work more and more. That's why this is the example that people who are working very hard, like work with like Stopping Network at the provincial level, so their time and they far more than me that they give. And also I just started to work with Kun Namphon from BDI, Big Data BD Institute. Yeah, from talking to her and working to her inspired me to contribute more and more. Yeah, and people in the room also as well. For example, Ajahn Pet from NCD Alliance, and more that I could not mention. But thank you for your time, and I hope that I have the closing remark. As the young generation, we will stand to use the evidence as the wisdom to, but I cannot read in my. As the young generation, we stand to use the evidence as the wisdom to support and stand for the truth to improve the human life and also work closely with the network. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lin. Thank you for your inspiring reflection from your real life and real experience as young research fellow at IHPP, who has been nurtured by our senior colleagues like Ajahn Viro or Ajahn Suvit, who commit and support you throughout your journey until you graduate as PhD. May I have big applause for Lin again? She is our hope for the HPSR advancement for the future.
Dr. Ping, reflection from Dr. Lin reminds me about one quotation that pressure doesn't break carbon, it makes diamonds. And Dr. Lin is our diamond.
Yeah, the diamond that is shine now.
May I now invite Dr. Pongthep Wongwacharaphaiboon, the CEO of the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, to share reflections from a health promotion research-driven policy perspective. Dr. Boy, please.
Thank you. Distinguished colleague, partner, and friend, it is a great pleasure to join this special moment for Thai Health. This occasion is not only about marking 25 years of IHPP's excellence, but about recognizing something deeper, the power of evidence to change lives, systems, and societies. Since its birth, IHPP has played a defining role in strengthening health policy and system research in Thailand and beyond. Its work has consistently shown that rigorous evidence, when combined with strong partnership and policy engagement, can lead to real and consistent impact. From universal health coverage to equity-oriented health financing to evidence for health promotion policies, IHPP's research has helped ensure that policy decisions are not driven by short-term pressures, but by what truly improves population health and social well-being. Thai Health mission strongly aligned with IHPP. Thai Health was established to create the conditions for healthier life, not just behavioral change, but through healthy public policy and enabling system. For the current collaboration with IHPP and BDI and Thai Health, we have the project work after start USC conference day last year. We work together with the project that we call the Health Data Analytics for Health Promotion and Service based of NSSO that Dr. Chintana told us. This is still be the first phase and will continue to the second phase to use the big data for health promotion and service of NSSO. It is for the example, maybe if we can have the data that make the ranking of the disease prevalence in our country. It means we can know the province that the highest rank of, for the example, the cervical cancer. It means if we compare with the service to screening cervical cancer with the cost to treat the third and fourth stage of cervical cancer, and Some province achieve, but some province not achieve. And maybe we can drive and we can work with the province and district and sub-district to improve the screening. This is only the example, but for like as the diabetes and for the chronic kidney disease that have the burden about 20,000 baht, million baht. Now, it maybe can see the location that the highest rank. This is collaborate with IHPP and Thai Health, and will go further. The future of the IHPP, for my opinion, is I think the academic work is not should not limit to the policy level in the for the executive level in the Ministry of Public Health or the political level too. But if IHPP can work with the local level and community level, maybe collaborate with the local administrative organization and can show the concrete result or concrete outcome in the community level. It will be represent the interesting alternative. On behalf of Thai Health, I would like to reaffirm our strong commitment to this partnership and to the shared vision with IHPP. Congratulations to IHPP on 25 remarkable years, and my sincere congratulations on this important new chapter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boy. From my observation, without support from Thai Health, many effective public health policies and research would neither survive nor come into existence. And also from your reflection, it reminds us that capacity building is not just about skills or training, but about people, institutions, and long-term collaboration. Thank you so much, Dr. Boy.
So now we will complete this session, and we would like to invite everyone to give big applause to our speakers for their reflections on HPP and from their perspective from global healthcare. Before we conclude this session, we would like to invite our key person, Dr. Virod Tangcharan-Sathian, who is the co-founder of IHPP, and now he serves as vice chairman of IHPP Foundation, to reflect on IHPP roles in HPSR over the past 25 years. Dr. Virod was mentioned in many talks and in our session, both opening and keynote address. So we will learn from him. Dr. Virod, please.
Thank you, Ping and Cham. Can you post on the screen slide, please? Dear colleague, distinguished guests and colleague, Anne has talked about the global HPSR. Now I will zoom in to what happened in Thailand. At IHPP 25 birthday celebration is an opportune time to discern the past, understand the present, and declare the future. What happened from the past to now on Thailand HPSR, not IHPP HPSR as such? We see an exceptional recognition in Thailand of the importance of HPSR, systematic process of capacity strengthening since the late 80s, as this text was borrowed without permission from Anne. And throughout the process, Anne has given a fertile soil. And Professor Pawet just gave me opportunity as a seed to be planted at London School in 1987 when I was 33 years old. When I returned, it's opportunity to lay down strong foundation of social health insurance. Instead of fee-for-service payment, I introduced capitation to the first Secretary General of SSO. And the whole process was further nurtured by the late Professor Thada Yip-In-Soy and also Professor Vichan. One's teacher is a lifetime teacher for me. So I'm with my full respect to three teachers, Ann Mills, Vichan, and the late Professor Thada Yip-In-Soy. So that means Professor Wasi gave the birth actually of IHPP. Now I will unpack what does it mean, the triangle that moves the mountain in real practices in the last 25 years. The first is the wisdom of power. We observe increased and strong capacity to generate evidence as reflected by number of publications, number of work, and number of PhD and master. I would say all returned and contribute on their respective capacities. And more researchers, both young and middle career. It is feasible because the ecosystem which enable HPSR. Health System Research Institute was established in 1992 by law. It provides funding support. That agenda was domestically driven and funded. The international collaboration enabled networking with multidisciplinary world-class scientists and networking from day one to today, and it will continue. A good number of statutory bodies, as reflected in the first VTR, has enabled demand. Thai Health just said that they demand evidence for their movement, health promotion, and the BOD work also contribute. We have National Health Commission Office. They convene annual National Assembly for the 19 consecutive years. Hospital Healthcare Accreditation Institute, which ensure that services are of quality. NHSO manage UCS and Thai Health. These are the statutory bodies by law to fill the gaps that the bureaucratic MOH cannot fully command, because it very much some limitation of the MOH and some great capacity of MOH too. Then all this fill the gap, and as the BTR said, it was initiated by Ajahn Pawet Wasi. We saw growing HPSR capacity in universities, in Mahidol, Jula, in Mahasarakham, in Konkan, in Songkhla, Nakhalin, to the south. We saw emerging role of young researchers and loose network, although they operate in a competitive, collaborative relationship, which is a healthy one. If you Google, it said collaborative, competitive is healthy than you curtail and cartel and compromise. The second is the power of government. The landscape of evidence use in policy making show both uneven progress and numerous challenges and opportunities to reform. The positive development are the growing institutionalization of evidence platform. IHPP, HITAP stand for Health Intervention and Technology Assessment Program. It was described by, I think, Alan Maynard as a star in the East, HITAP. NHS Research Unit and emerging unit in Mahidol, in Syria, in many. And HITAP trigger capacity on HTA capacity. It is one of the championing in HTA in the region. Despite this positive development, we see systematic challenges. For example, a varying capacity across government and political agency to interpret or misinterpret and apply research. So we have periodic shift in the organization culture around the use of evidence and emerging silo approaches. Now, the third power of society, citizen, and the social movement. We saw and witnessed increasing strong CSO capacity, though it is not homogeneous. We are quite team-based and not health system approach. We have almost 2 decades of participatory public policy development through national health assemblies for the last 19 years. Now, what are the future? I think the future is to, my proposition is to apply the triangle that moves the mountain in real life HPSR. Further think seriously, discern, understanding what does it mean, and understand the 3 powers that move the society and manage it properly. First, our proposition is to strengthen the power of wisdom. It continues strengthening the power of wisdom. Grooming up the young generation of multidisciplinary researchers, not only medics, but social scientists, lawyers. We have a big gap. Larry Gostin from Georgetown said his proposition is the legal determinant of health apart from commercial. We have, if a law is bad, the outcome is poor. If the law did not focus on governance, the outcome is worse. Therefore, we need lawyer. This message to YY. We need trained lawyer and understand, not the lawyer who serve the private industry and serve the politics and slap the civil society. Continue engaging and generating rigorous ethical HPSR. We have to engage actively in policy process while maintain the scientific independence. The strategic location of policy link site or policy circle is so important. You have to learn swim in the sea. You cannot swim in the class. Therefore, the sea is the dynamic of political power. How policy was decided apart from different stakeholder interests and conflict of interest. Develop policy entrepreneurial skill and integrate science into political interests. I have also one key proposal to improve the ecosystem of research funding mechanism that enable some research funding organization does not pay salary adequately for researcher. The future of Thai HPSR. Second proposition is to bridge the 3 powers. It cannot be silo, one power stand alone. It won't work. It must be the 3 powers synergizedly. The proposal here is quite robotic. I don't know how to better propose, but you have to think about this and interpret yourself how we bridge the 3 powers. Third is to support the power of society and social movement, networking. Partner with CSO, strengthen their evidence literacy, continue enhancing national health assembly process, and make research finding accessible to the public. Remaining opportunistic. Why you must be realistic. We learn Weiji is a crisis. Mean the first script is danger. The second script is opportunity. So danger plus opportunity mean crisis. In the midst of every crisis lie opportunity, as said by someone. And we live in the law of impermanence, anicca, in Bali. Today, challenge will evolve. It won't keep all the problem will be solved. We believe that. And we maintain faith in Thailand's capacity for successive progress, as demonstrated by past achievement in USC HA capacity, Thai Healthcare Activation Institute, and many others. In conclusion, learning from 20 years, I would say, rough journey, evidence shows that simply evidence does not suffice. We need to synergize the three powers that move the mountain. And health development in a challenging context of demographic shift, gloomy economy, increasingly requires synergizing the three powers. I like to say that reflection today reflects the collective achievement and the remaining challenges. I made a token. I'm a hobby, my carpenter. I like to invite Anne to hand over the token to Secretary General Ankana. And I have a narrative in text and ask ChatGPT to make it as poetic. And Ankana will read the poet. And as one of the conceiving power, the cell is made of string in a parabolic curve with a proportion 2:1, 60 degrees and 90 degrees. Back to you, Ankana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Virod. But actually, it's not in the script, to be frank to you. But I just want to say that thank you. And I just want to reflections about receiving this invaluable gift. But I believe that I'm standing here and receiving that gift is not on behalf of IHPP, but it's on behalf of us here who have a like-minded as believe in the health system and policy research and have belief in the evidence to inform policy and to change the world. And so I think in this poem that Dr. Virod wrote with ChatGPT, I don't think that I can read it all, but what I would like to highlight is what Dr. Virod. He said that during the past 25 years, HPP has been through thick and thin. But it's described our history. However, what Dr. Virod would like to highlight for us, it's about our mission. On the last sentence, it said that, the mission remains unchanged. 1, to produce knowledge that cannot be bent. 2nd, to guide policy in public interest. And 3rd, to safeguard the health of people. And I think these 3 missions, it's still in our heart here. And these 3 missions, it's in line with the motto of Prince Mahidol, to put public interest as priority. And it's also linked to the triangle that moved the mountain, that we believe in the synergistic power of 3 power to have a wisdom for well-being of the people in this world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ankana. And also thank you very much, Dr. Virod, for overview our past, present, and future for 25 years. Now, as we mark IHPP Silver Jubilee, this milestone represents not an end, but a foundation built for 25 years of trust, evidence, and relationships. And we still have future to go a long, long way. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have completed the first part of today's side meeting. So now is 5 and 7. We will have a short 5-minute break. But before we go for break, we would like to have a group photo for everyone in this room. Our photographer will stay on the stage and we will take photo to include everyone in this room together. Could you please stay for a while before go for break? Okay, we will have 2 photos. The first one, we will take a photo while everyone is sitting. Having a good time chatting and having break. We will start the second part in 2 minutes.
Okay.
May I invite all participants to come back to the room.
UNU IGH Pascal Alote. Yeah, she convened a meeting at that time. You know, the first and only time when I met you. And I've been a fan of you ever since. Oh my god. Yeah, totally a fan. So where are you now? I am between Hong Kong and KL right now, so I spent half my time in Hong Kong. I moved to Hong Kong in 2021. She's an MD for litigation for UBS Swiss Bank. And I am spending my
So if anyone finish your coffee and tea, please kindly return to your seat as we will proceed to the next session.
Welcome back, everyone. We will now proceed to the second part of today's side meeting. This session is the launch of the Prince Mahidol Award Conference Strategic Institute, or PMAC SI. The PMAC SI is as a bridge to strengthen the interface between evidence, policy, and practice, bringing together research policy institutions, regional and global partners to support strategic health policy work.
The PMAC is supported by a joint secretariat comprising the IHPP Foundation and the Health Intervention and Technology Assessment Program Foundation, or HITAP, the National University of Singapore, or NUS, the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, or Thai Health, the National Health Security Office, or NHSO, and the National Health Commission Office, or NHCO. Together, this initiative extends PMAC's impact beyond the conference towards the platforms to support countries in addressing complex health challenges through evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now proceed to the launch of the Prince Mahidol Award Conference Strategic Institute, or PMAC SI.
Now we will begin with the opening remarks from our great mentor, who is still speaking. It is our pleasure to invite Dr. Suwit Vibunpornprasad, Chair of the PMAC SI Steering Committee, to introduce the PMAC SI. Sorry, Dr. Suwit, to interrupt you. Dr. Suwit, please.
This is the third time I stand here today. So the one who will really introduce the PMAC Strategic Institute is Dr. Chuluthai, not me. But this institute is meant to move the annual conference resolution, call to action, or the knowledge emerge into wider use, to advocate for policy, at the same time to build more capacity for global health, because PMAC is the contribution of Thai government, Thai royal family, and the Thai people to the world. We don't have our own agenda. It's all the co-hosts that help shape the agenda, the theme. So I won't talk long. This is enough because the time is already over time. I will let Dr. Chilitai do the job, why we need it, and what the following her will be what we will do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suvit. Next, we invite Emeritus Professor Dr. Chinritai Kanjanachitra. Professor Chinritai is a respected scholar in health systems and capacity building and serves as the manager of the PMAC conference. Professor Chinritai, please.
Good morning, everyone. We talk about the PMAC Strategic Institute, and they said good things take time. And so I will tell the story about the path to PMAC Strategic Institute. And it took us 10 years to get to. Back in 2017, PMAC turned 10 years old. And like any other good organization, when they hitting the double digit, we did an evaluation by external experts. And here's what we discovered. We were great at bringing people together once a year, discussing critical issues, and then what? Everyone would go home inspired, and we would see them again next year. The evaluation told us clearly, you need to do something beyond a conference. You need to move policy, not just discuss it. So we proposed PMAC Global Health to institutionalize PMAC and create a body for policy movement. But the idea didn't materialize. So fast forward to July 2022, after we failed to institutionalize PMAC Global Health, we stopped actively discussing the idea, but it never really left our mind. So we took the opportunity of a retreat in Phuket to bring this idea back. But this time, we brought a new partner, the Kasikorn Bank, and the team, led by Mr. Pipit, the vice president. Now, why a bank team? Because strategists think differently. They build roadmaps. They ask hard questions. What's the future direction? How do we make PMAC applicable to real policy development? How do we activate our partners, not just invite them? So at the PMAC retreat, we finally had time to stop just talking and start planning real action. And Dr. Suvit, who had been championing this vision all along, finally had the space to push us forward. And we had strategic thinkers like Mr. Pipit helping us to see the possibilities. After Phuket, something shifted. We put PMAC Strategic on the agenda of every single IOC meeting. 4 meetings a year, 10 meetings over 2.5 years. But these weren't just updates. They were real working sessions. Dr. Suvit championed the vision. YY, David, Dennis, among others, bring strategic thinking. And IOC members from across our partner organizations, Peter, Tuba, Jesse, Stephen, Feng, Tim, Tangkun, contributing their expertise, asking tough questions, testing ideas. That's how the original idea of PMAC Global Health from 2017 evolved into PMAC Strategic Institute. It didn't happen in one aha moment. It's emerged through collective wisdom. Different stakeholders bringing different perspectives, strategic minds pushing us to think bigger, clearer, and bolder. What I learned through this journey, transformation isn't a solo sport. It takes a team that's willing to show up, dig in, and keep the conversation moving forward, even when progress feels slow. So here we are, 10 years from that 2017 evaluation, 10 years of evolution, persistent, and yes, patient. PMAC Strategic Institute isn't a building or a traditional institute. It's something better. It's a movement, a commitment to turn an annual conversation into year-round action, to transform policy discussion into policy change. Was it worth the 10 years journey? Ask me again in another 10 years. Because the real path, the exciting path starts now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sinrutai. From your introduction, we can see that PMAC SI is not just institute, it's a commitment, it's a collaboration, it's a partnership that takes time to establish. So now I would like to invite Dr. Angkana Lekakul to provide an overview of the PMAC SI, including its structure and objectives, and to introduce the program manager of the 3 PMAC SI units.
Good afternoon again, everyone. It's my honor to be here, but in different roles as a PMAC SI manager. I think for me, it's to talk after Ajahn Sinrutai, it's quite difficult because I think what she shared with us is about 10-year experiences. But what I'm thinking, what Dr. Sinrutai, Ajahn Sinrutai told us, it started in 2017, but before that, PMAC has started since 2007. It means that we have a first 10 years before thinking to expand the PMAC into beyond an annual conference. And it's taken 10 years to become today. But what I witnessed by myself is only 2 years to turn, I think, since the meeting in Phuket that Dr. Sinrutai mentioned earlier. I think in the discussion, we've been a long discussion on how to make it happen. Because we all know that for PMAC, it's not Thai partner, it's not Thai government, but it's belong to all of us here. It's not only co-hosts from different countries, from different organizations, but it's also, we need the engagement from the participants of PMAC to create some meaningful things in this world. So when we talk about how to leverage the impact of PMAC, not only an annual conference, it's like a big question on how to invest our time and energy to think about it. So I think based on the long term discussion, it's become the PMAC Strategic Institute. I think, to be frank to you, I think it's officially launched today, but based on the long discussion. So what we would like to see, I think similar to Dr. Sinrutai mentioned that it should be beyond the annual conference. And what we would love to see is it should be the platform to bring the engagement of people to discuss about policy. It's not only academic conference, and it's not only discussed in the last week of January, but we love to see the activity the year round. It's not only IOC meeting, but it should be activity with our partner around the world. And to build up the capacity and create some dialogue around the world about health system and global health. And so this is the vision and positioning of PMAC. What we would love to see from PMAC is to be one of the part of to make a safer, healthier, and more secure world. And also for our positioning, we will be the global platform that committed to advancing the equitable health system. But this platform is a global platform, and it should be neutral and independent and inclusive platform. And it is the mission that we got from the long discussion. Yet, the mission is PMAC. It stands for PMAC. The P is policy formulation. M stands for movement, and A for awareness and building and advocacy, and for C is the catalyze and capacity building. This is the mission that we will bring PMAC beyond an annual conference. I don't think that I will go into the detail, but it is the mission that we are committed to do on it. And here, it is like a structure of the PMAC Strategic Institute. It's not like a standing institute. There's no building, but there's a committed people to work together as a collaboration. You may see from the last row, it's the unit. Under the PMAC Strategic Institute, we have 3 units based on the vision mission that I presented earlier. The first unit is it's a PMAC Policy Unit. Second is PMAC Academy. And third is a PMAC Global Health and USC Hub. I think these 3 units, it's led by our partner, our co-host of a PMAC. For policy unit, we have IHPP and IHPP Foundation. For IHPP, we have Ms. Sodamini and Ms. Tashi from IHPP. And for academy, Professor YY, is leading the academy. And then for Global Health and USC Hub, it will be Ms. Dipya. And you will hear more from these 3 units later. And I think for these 3 units, they have their plan, and it's like a synergistic plan among 3 units. But the activity of 3 units is under the steering committee chaired by Dr. Subit. And we have many advisors. Dr. Keso, I think you just heard from him since the morning. And we have both Thai and international advisors. And we have 7 members. And you may see that it's like a big group of joint secretariat from different organizations. And here, this is the structure of PMAC Strategic Institute. I think next, I would like to invite the manager of each unit to explain more about the objective, about the scope of the unit, and also the work plan for this year. I think first, I would like to invite the representative from policy unit, Ms. Tachi, and then Professor YY, and then Ms. Dipya to be on the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you, Dr. Ankana, for the overview of the Strategic Institute and for introducing the units. My name is Tash Chozom, the Program Manager for PMAC Strategic Institute's Policy Unit, along with Ms. Sodamini Dabak, the Program Manager from IHPP, Health Intervention and Technology Assessment Program. But unfortunately, she's not here with us. She has a prior engagement, but I hope I can represent her well. So I'll move on to the next slide. As you can see from this theory of change, the policy unit aims to contribute towards greater uptake of health evidence and recommendations in global, regional, and national health policies, not only fostering strong policy coherence, but also policy impact and multi-stakeholder collaboration. And this will be done through 3 work streams, as you can see. Under the knowledge management work stream, we want to develop policy-relevant outputs, products that will lead to the translation of evidence into actionable insights to inform and influence health policies. Under the capacity strengthening work stream, it mainly focuses on enhancing the skills of policymakers, researchers, and implementers alike in policy communication and evidence translation. The last work stream on engagement and partnerships, we plan to advance stronger policy discussion and multi-stakeholder collaboration by engaging in global health dialogues and key forums like the PMAC. And these are expected to lead to enhanced engagement of policymakers and stakeholders, especially with global health evidence, including PMAC insights as well, in LMICs and the Global South especially. And for the inaugural year of the PMAC Strategic Institute, we have several activities that will be led by both IHPP and IHPP. under these three work streams. Under knowledge management, IHPP will be delivering a database capturing PMAC 2025 outputs and survey findings on PMAC needs and also potential areas for development. In addition, both IHPP and IHPP will be generating knowledge products such as policy briefs, journal articles, webinars, and so on. Under the capacity building work stream, we plan to conduct a regional policy brief development workshop in close collaboration with other partners. And finally, under engagement partnerships, we plan to strategically engage in global health forums, practitioner networks, and form partnerships, not only form, build, and maintain partnerships to initiate policy dialogues and to advance collaboration and learning. So this, in a nutshell, is what the policy unit is trying to achieve this year for the inaugural year. And mainly to move policy, as Professor Chiruntai mentioned earlier, and also to bridge policy, evidence, and action, as mentioned by Ajahn Suwit in his opening address. And we look forward to working with everyone closely and growing together. So we're very much open to new ideas from everyone, and I hope we get to work together on this, and very excited for this year and beyond. So thank you very much. And I would like to invite Professor YY for the Academy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be talking about and introducing the PMAC Academy. And I suppose, given that it's an academy, who better to talk about it than someone from the university? But I should highlight that the PMAC Academy, it's not just NUS. It is also a collection of Thai universities that are contributing to this. It is also a collection of Chinese universities, Swedish universities, and Japanese universities that are all coming together to contribute to the PMAC Academy. Because I think fundamentally we realize that there is a lot of learning that is generated from the PMAC trajectory whenever we plan a PMAC conference. How do we capture some of this learning as well as to impart this to future generations of health leaders? That is what the Academy stands for. So you could see that we have three main objectives for the PMAC Academy. The first objective definitely is what PMAC always stands for. How do we continue to build pipelines of current and future leaders, not just in health, but in sectors that will affect health? Because we have heard today, earlier on in the morning, we have heard in the afternoon as well, all the different sectors in a country has an influence on health. This is where the PMAC Academy will intend to extend what we always hear from Dr. Suwit, the intellectual capital, the social capital from PMAC to more people in Asia and beyond Asia. So there is going to be a primary focus in Asia, but definitely the ambition, depending on resources, will aim to stretch way beyond Asia to the world. There is also a second point on trying to establish a network, because we have clearly seen in all the conversation we heard this morning, focus on national priorities, focus on how the region can serve countries and help countries develop. All of this needs human resource, needs leadership. And this is again where PMAC intends to be the agent of change, to be the pathfinder. We talk about the reforms, the PMAC Strategic Institute, it's going to identify the how and the who. The Academy comes in to address the who in terms of not just training these people, but forming a network of these people. And the last objective is definitely in terms of how do we share some of the lessons, the right lessons as well as the wrong lessons. In Thailand, there are very strong lessons in terms of how you design health promotion, how you design your universal healthcare. But equally, in Asia, Asia Pacific, there are some countries who have made mistakes, whether it is around vaccination, whether it is around how they look after their vulnerable population. How do we capture some of these lessons for use in the classroom, for use in a discussion like this? So what does these three objectives translate to practically? This is where the key activities for the Academy will include. The first will be PMAC will now formally have fellowships. And there will be two classes of fellowships that we talk about. One is emerging fellows, and this would be junior fellows. That one is in terms of senior fellows. We anticipate that in the design of this fellowship, the emerging fellows will be guided by the senior fellows, as well as senior global health leaders in Thailand, in the region, and in the world. The second is actually on executive leadership, focusing on programs such as health diplomacy, such as health governance, aspects that very much center on the core ethos that PMAC has always stood for, which is around the values of equity, around the values of focusing on the right governance structure for the health systems. And then the third, when I talk about a collection of lessons, right and wrong lessons that we have seen in health, in global health, in Asia, this is where PMAC will now announce a library of global public health case studies. This library will be shared publicly, openly for use, including some of the very strong lessons on how, for example, Thailand designed its sugar taxation law and how it consulted that mountain approach and consulted stakeholders, including civil societies and the industry. It also contains some of the difficult lessons that we have seen, perhaps surrounding the dengue vaccine rollout in Asia. So this library of case studies will also be part and parcel of the PMAC Academy. Now, the PMAC Academy, we constantly highlight, it's not just going to be this PMAC family alone, but extended a lot to all of you here who have an interest to share your resources, your knowledge to help advance health in Asia. And I think this is where we look to many of you for support and for guidance on what are some of the additional elements that we can build into the PMAC Academy. And with that, thank you very much, and I would like to invite Divya to share about the UHC Hub.
Okay, hello, good evening everyone. I'm Divya Lakhotia from the IHPP Foundation. I would first like to start by acknowledging the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, the National Health Security Office, and the National Health Commission Office of Thailand, who are part of the Joint Secretariat of PMAC-SI, and in particular will be working very closely on the PMAC Global Health and UHC Hub along with IHPP. So the main goal of the PMAC Global Health and UHC Hub is to act as a bridge. We will manage, coordinate, and bring together key partners both in Thailand and internationally to advocate, support, accelerate, and monitor the progressive realization of UHC, universal health coverage, and broader global health goals. So to do this effectively, we will focus on three core objectives. First is knowledge management, and this includes generation and dissemination of knowledge and lessons learned on global health issues. Second is social and policy advocacy. We'll work closely with stakeholders to strengthen health policies and make sure that UHC stays at the top of the global agenda. And thirdly, it's capacity strengthening, using the INNE concept, which means strengthening at every level of the system, from the individual and node to the network, and finally the broader ecosystem for capacity strengthening. So looking ahead to our planned activities for our inaugural year, we have a very busy and exciting schedule ahead of us. So first, in knowledge management, there is global health research on topics such as health workforce, global health architecture reform, emerging infectious diseases within ASEAN, and we are also planning on developing an engaging UHC glossary of common terms, and also a series of webinars on global health and UHC issues. Second, for advocacy, We will be engaging in various global health platforms such as the WHA, the Global Symposium on Health Systems Research, and the World Health Summit in 2026. We will also proactively engage with global UHC champions to drive policy change. And finally, for capacity strengthening, we will be focusing on the next generation of leaders by hosting workshops for early to mid-career professionals, including our Global Health Bootcamp, the Thai UHC Journey Workshop, and potentially a regional Global Health Diplomacy Workshop as well. So ultimately, the hub is about turning shared knowledge into collective action, and we really do look forward to collaborating with many of you to turn these goals into a reality. Thank you very much, and I hand back over to the MCs.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ankana, Ms. Tashi, Professor YY, and Ms. Dipya for clearly showing how the PMAC SI will turn strategy into real programs and action.
We now move to the last session of today's program, where we would like to hear brief reflections on the relevance and future potential of the PMAC SI from our partners. We would like to invite our key speakers to deliver their remark on the podium within 2 minutes for each speaker. Sorry to keep it short.
To begin, may we invite Dr. Pongthep, the CEO of the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, to share his reflection.
Thai Health is proud to support the establishment of PMAC Strategic Institute. PMAC SI turns dialogue into directions, evidence into influence, and partnerships into lasting impact. It ensures that the ideas born at PMAC do not end with when the conference ends, but continue to shape policies, people, and progress throughout the years. Thai Health is proud to stand with PMAC SI as a long-term supporting partner, and we encourage all partners to do so too. Because in a year of global uncertainty, what the world needs is not more conversations, but institutes that carry conversations forward into action. PMAC SI is that institute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pongthep.
Next, we would like to invite Dr. Gabriel Leung, Director of the Institute of Philanthropy, to share his reflection. Dr. Gabriel, please.
It's always a privilege to be asked to share a few thoughts, especially when it comes to IHPP. I've first come to know and work with IHPP since I was a junior academic, and that's quite some time ago, probably around the time of your foundation, a quarter of a century ago. And in that capacity, we worked on issues of health equity, particularly equity in financing of almost all of South and Southeast Asia, plus a little bit of East Asia as well. And ever since that time, it has never ceased to amaze not only people who actually work in and with colleagues of IHPP, but also the impact that it extends way beyond the technical or even theoretical. IHPP has a ringing endorsement from policymakers even more loudly than from research communities in this region. And that to me is absolutely unique. Most of us who do work in the areas, and by the way, in case you don't quite grasp the breadth of scope of IHPP, revisit this diagram. This is the present scope of IHPP. And for those of us who have been doing this for a little bit too long, and therefore should retire, these areas, each of them have been a full World Health Report, if not more. Every single one of them have either been a World Health Report issued by the World Health Organization annually, or a special commission of the WHO or of the UN, or has led to a UNGA high-level resolution, or combinations thereof. Now, that is strategic. That's not haphazard. It's not even tactical. That is deeply strategic. And by the way, in about half of these programs, IHPP came before the UN high-level resolution, before the WHO Commission, or before the World Health Report, but actually laid the foundation leading up to those globally impactful, or at least globally relevant, high-level works or programs of work, some of which are still ongoing. And that really is all you need to say about it. Now, of the three strategic institutes, and I emphasize strategy because I think it's so important that we not only keep on envisioning, but envisioning in a strategic way. Otherwise, you are simply dreaming. And therefore, these strategic institutes, as currently conceived, and they keep on evolving, I think that they are indeed going to have deep impact. But there is one thing that I've learned as a funder over the last 4 or 5 years now, and that is before you even consider starting something, and certainly as a funder, before we even start a program, we think about how to exit. And as a funder, it's particularly important, even though we're a philanthropic funder, and in fact we are a very old-fashioned funder, where it's 100% donation with no recovery of capital. But even then, we take pride in having the discipline of the best venture capital firms, i.e., venture capital firms or private equity firms go in with a view of an exit where they can flip the thing and make a lot of money. My return on investment is all about social impact or impact in people's lives. And therefore, how do we sustain something that is catalyzed originally by experimental philanthropic dollars? And so I think that what this couple of days of PMAC can hopefully start the gray cells churning is how can we sustain the good work as laid out and as described by our friends just now, so that they would be self-perpetuating. And I think that is so, so important because the Thai government and PMAC and IHPP have been so successful in sustaining and perpetuating all these deeply rooted and living legacies of public health. And hopefully these at least 3 strategic institutes would have and enjoy the same benefit that we have all so far benefited from associating ourselves with the excellent work of IHPP in the last quarter century, and may that long perpetuate. And hopefully, in whatever capacity, but currently in my funder capacity, that we would have the privilege of being one of the catalysts to one or more of these strategic institutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gabriel, for your insightful and impressive remark.
Next, may we invite Dr. Taksapon or Dr. Mek from the Chinese Medical Board. Dr. Mek, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Regarding to this PMAC Strategic Institute, CMB Foundation value it as an institutional network of diverse entities beyond the 3 core agencies. The network of diverse entities, both large and small, resource-rich and expertise-rich, all united by a single commitment to a healthier and fairer world. I have 3 key messages. First, from event to movement, I echo many speakers we have heard today. While CMB congratulates this initiative with great appreciation, PMAC must be more than just a talk shop or an annual event focused on a rotating annual theme. We should value PMAC not merely a conference, but as a movement, a global movement, a movement that mobilizes the unique strengths of various partners and individuals to collectively address the global challenges. We believe PMAC SI can be the lever that makes this movement possible. Colleagues, if you believe in the triangle that moves the mountain, PMAC is the mountain that moves the triangle. I mean the mountainous opportunity to empower knowledge sector, policy sector, and civil society sector. Secondly, the necessity of unnecessary. If someone were to ask me, do we really need this PMAC SI? My sincere answer would be, no, we don't. No, we don't. If scholars can already feed timely evidence to those who need it. No, we don't. If there's already a good balance of power among stakeholders in this global health landscape. And no, we certainly do not need. If preparedness and capacity were already fully invested and installed on the ground across health systems in countries. However, in this imperfect reality, CMB Foundation believes that this strategic institute is the very platform required to bridge those gaps and move the world closer to that ideal. Thirdly, from why to how. Why we all seem to agree on why of this initiative, the more critical question is the how. Specifically, how we share roles and responsibility, how we effectively link these institutes to PMAC conference and drive action on the ground, which has to relate to other partners, reaching far beyond the wall of this central hotel and beyond our immediate partners. Colleagues, working together is like a group of musicians trying to play a new symphony. We all have different instruments, and at first, we are definitely going to hit some wrong notes with different tempo. But as long as we are looking on the same music sheet, and eventually it will stop being a noise and start being a movement. Colleagues, let us work together and learn together as we build the better path forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your touching and insightful reflection, Dr. Mek.
Now we then invite Dr. Eduardo Benson, Director of the Health, Human and Social Development Office at the Asian Development Bank, to share his reflections. Dr. Eduardo, please.
think it's great to reflect on what Mac said, because in a sense, what we're seeing is despite the crisis, that's what Viraj said, there's lots of opportunities that we're seeing in Asia and the Pacific. Countries in Asia and the Pacific really has expressed their ambition to achieve UHC, to reform their health systems, and this is something that we keep on hearing from what we call in Asia developing member countries in ADBs, DMCs. But in a sense, people who are from countries here that actually know that's what's happening in their countries. We in ADB, essentially, the way we sometimes describe what we do is we finance what countries wants to scale up. We support countries achieve their ambition. And we're seeing this ambition in each and every country. But the challenge, of course, as what Mac said, sometimes you wish it is as simple that the solutions are immediately there. It's simple that you get the right approaches, and that's the one that's being implemented by countries. This is where we see our role and what the PMAC Strategic Institute is, to help countries translate ambition to action towards sustainable and resilient health systems, to help provide that support for the solutions, whether from us financing, from PMAC Strategic Institute, ensuring that those solutions can survive the unfortunate world we have right now, or in a sense, many people who will challenge using TikTok, Facebook, or whatever social media. We operate in that world right now. Nobody listens to Lancet alone. Unfortunately, there's really a need for us to have as many stakeholders support the solutions that is the appropriate ones. And we see the PMAC Strategic Institute to help us provide that. But more than that, that's why I love sitting beside YY. We need leaders at all levels of the health system. Look, whenever I talk about the Thai, I love to say the Thai miracle, but Thai UHC, there's a slide that they usually show, Wala usually shows it, where all these Thai health leaders who's been part of the UC. Of course, I always tell Wala, how come there's only 2 women? But let's have that other conversation. And that slide for me, and I remember that, I think you're familiar with that slide, right? All the pictures of all the different leaders in Thailand, all of who had been part of it. It's not just, although I would love to say this to make Suit and Viraj happy, it's not just Suit and Viraj. It's lots of leaders from ministries of health, from academia, including district hospitals, local governments. You need those leaders. And we need to build those leaders, because those leaders will be the one that will sustain and make the solutions happen, and to make ambition into action happen. And in a sense, the second leg of the PMAC Institute to build these leaders is something we in ADB has been trying to do, but we know YY has been doing out of NUS, but we hope that this will be accelerated with the PMAC Strategic Institute. We also believe Asia at this stage has done so much, and we should do more in peer learning. How I wish we could all send all of them to London School, where I also studied. But, I think it's too expensive now, sorry. But the peer learning we do that a lot of PMAC, but it should not be once a year. So I think the PMAC Institute would allow us, that we understand it, so this peer learning be done year-long in many different venues. And I really like the other universities that are involved, the Swedish, the Japanese, and all that, to really facilitate this peer learning. There's so much that has happened in Asia and the Pacific that it is really sad when those who are pushing ambition to become solutions and action are not aware of what other countries are doing. Finally, we also know, as what Viraj said, adjust, adapt, keep on pushing. The challenges will keep on changing. Now we're talking about demographic transition. Last year we talked about AI. The previous year it was climate change. All of these are changing the problems we have to face. So we simply need to keep on adapting or adjusting and making, in a sense, finding new solutions for new problems. I see the PMAC Institute, and I think this is what I'm gonna ask them. You could have a multiplier effect. We have to acknowledge PMAC Institute, some would say, sorry, PMAC Strategic Institute, is same. Many others. There's enough other platforms that are already there. So why do you need to have a PMAC Institute? And the way I explain it, it can be a multiplier of what you're doing. So for example, as an ADB, we actually brought in participants of our second health leadership course here in PMAC. So not only can we talk to them separately, but they can also be exposed to PMAC. And I see this as an opportunity for others who have your own platform. There's always value in great ideas. I love the classic saying that let 1,000 flowers, flowers bloom. I was thought we gotta have it. But nonetheless, we look forward in ADB to support the PMAC Strategic Institute in the different ways in which it could support. I know that Suwit may be waiting for me to make a commitment of X million of dollars, but I'm not Gabriel. So, I'm sorry. Okay, that's why billions of dollars. But nonetheless, we assure the PMAC Strategic Institute that in whatever way we can do, whether it's whatever way, we will be here to be with you in making ambition into solutions, into actions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eduardo, for your thoughtful reflection and your support for the PMAC SI.
Late afternoon sessions are always the true test of commitment. Thank you so much for everyone to stay focused. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Calypso Shokido, the Director of the Department of Performance, Financing and Delivery at the World Health Organization, to share her reflections. Please.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Viros, Dr. Suwit, the reports of our death were greatly exaggerated. We're still alive. WHO is still around, and very, very honored that you invited us here. I wanted to say that, of course, you all have noticed we've been through a very difficult time, still going through a difficult time. But I think it's also, it has been an opportunity. It shaped our approach. I think it's now obvious to everybody that WHO should be concentrating on norms, global public goods. We shouldn't be internalizing functions that others should be doing, could be doing way better than us, that we should be building partnerships and engaging with others, not be insecure and protect our turf, not crowd out, but crowd in. And I think this is why this is an opportunity to be part of this effort, of this movement. On the policy side unit, I think the opportunities for research are great. We've got a number of data sets and reports we would like to publish, and it's impossible to do that with the resources we've got and the expertise we've got. We would very much like to work with you on quality of care, health system performance analytics, the state of health financing report. As Gabriel said, the track record of IHPP and your research institutes is fantastic in taking important themes and elevating them with a global impact for years. Dr. Viroj, you pushed at the Assembly when you come to Geneva, you always talk about the importance of methods for identifying unmet need. We count people who become poor from spending, but not those who have too little money to spend. So we're greatly underestimating the number of poor who can't access care, in fact, who face financial hardship. So what is the approach there? What should we be doing, again, as a global community? So very important role in terms of research. In terms of the academy, I think huge potential and synergies with also the Tokyo hub. The fellowships idea, I think, is excellent. The mentorship, the support, creating this cohort, this community of practice globally, I think is something that's absolutely necessary in the current environment. And then I think in terms of the actual hub, bringing it all together. Again, the need is there and it's obvious. I think it's far from a cacophony, as Dr. Mack was saying, a set of people playing instruments. And I think it's okay. There's many of us doing similar things. We were at the peers launched, the work ADB launched. Of course, there's the Joint Lending Network. There's the Tokyo Hub. That's okay. And in fact, I think what this offers an opportunity for us to do is to build a network of networks. And I sort of Googled that to see what comes up, and it comes up with the internet. So it can't be a bad thing. It's a good thing. So harness this energy that the Thai spirit brings. I think it's open and inclusive, and doesn't compete, but rather brings people together with a fantastic track record of impact. So I'll finish by asking you for 2 or maybe 3 things. The first is to say, please go beyond Asia and the Pacific. I'm sure you will, but this has to be a global, truly global public good, this outreach and the learning. Please go beyond health. I think we must go back to basics. We must reposition health as the major enabler of social and inclusive economic growth. We can't dissociate these things. WHO perhaps has over the years become too much focused on health and healthcare. And I think we need to change the language and revert to a narrative that really appeals to people at the current point in time. And the third thing to ask, do not write us off yet. I think we've been through a crisis, but we're I hope on our way up now, and this kind of partnership is what will make WHO significant and able to add value. So thank you very much.
Really appreciate your insights, Dr. Calypso. Thank you so much.
We will now hear from the last 2 speakers of today's session. Let's start with Dr. Hajime Inoue. He's professor from International University of Health and Welfare, and he also served as advisor to Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare of Japan.
Thank you very much for your introductions. Just before these sessions, Dr. Birosh came to me and opening his notebook. On the notebook, there is his handwriting sketch of the joint logo of the PMAC Global Health UHC Hub and our UHC Knowledge Hub in Tokyo. I learned that Dr. Birosh is not just a researcher, not just a policymaker, but an excellent designer and artist. Very amazing. And happy to be joined the twin sisters of PMAC and also our UHC Knowledge Hub. IHPP says Silver Jubilee 25 years, but I myself is a little bit uncomfortable to contain their work just 25 years, because I know more than that. My first visit to Thailand is 40 years ago, still vividly remaining it. I was still a medical student, participate in a 2 weeks workshop convened by Mahidol University. So I'm Mahidol trained, even though it's just 2 weeks on PhD. So I had the opportunity to observe the activity of village health volunteers in the rural community in Thai at that time. And also a young doctor just graduated from medical school managing the district hospital. So it's not just 25 years, decades of the movements is now reaching to the establishment of the PMAC Strategic Institute. So was our UHC Knowledge Hub. It's just launched last month, but it's deep-rooted in our movements towards achieving UHC in early 60s and also trying to maintain the UHC while rapidly aging our society. So both of us just launched this month and the last month as a twin sister, have deep roots for decades, different genes merging into together, looking forward to working and playing in the next coming months and years and decades. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hajime, for your very insightful remarks.
We move to our last speaker. Please welcome Dr. Nin Pai, the Program Manager at the World Bank. to share her reflections.
Thank you very much. I'm actually wearing two hats today. I am with the World Bank, 30 years in this institute, and I'm also the program manager for the World Bank with the Tokyo Knowledge Hub. So I'm very happy that there's another hub. And have a twin sister. Thank you so much. I have been attending PMAC for so many years now, and as an individual and as a professional, this conference, this event, always inspires and always challenges the way I think and the way what we do. So thank you again. And when I heard about this proposal and now the reality of having a PMAC Strategic Institute to go beyond and to scale up what you do here and really try to inspire the health leaders, the old and the new. This really got me very, very excited. And so as the World Bank, we're very committed to this partnership and to continue working with you. I just want to share a few thoughts. And this kind of relates a little bit from my learning being based in Tokyo. One is we can't do everything. We have to rely on partnerships. And it is a lot easier said than done. It is because we do play different instruments. So this idea of building trust, to have meaningful dialogue is essential. And I do think that the Strategic Institute, who was it that said trust is now going to be one of the most valued currencies? And I think building trust among the partners, but also stakeholders that we often don't talk to. In the UHC Knowledge Hub, it's about bringing health and finance together, helping them understand each other and to have shared goals. So I do see, thinking about this, we don't have to do everything. Rely on partnerships that bring different value add, and as well as to be able to take knowledge into impact. So a few thoughts. Please help build trust. The second is, I think we need to celebrate failures as well, and to create the safe space where we can talk about progress, but also mistakes that we've made. And creating that safe space between leaders and between different stakeholders is really essential if we want to turn into action, the knowledge into action. And again, also the other thing is it's very easy to say, let's transform knowledge to action and then impact at scale. How do we really put emphasis on implementation? Understanding, implementation, what does it take to bring about change at the country level? It's more than technical knowledge, it's more than technical skills. It requires leadership competencies, which are often implicit. So I'm very happy to see that you're really focusing on executive leadership, but please note, leaders are everywhere. They don't have to be ministers. So really the question is expand the concept of leadership, but also to really put emphasis on implementation, competencies, about managing expectations, managing risk in this very difficult environment that we are in, and to continuously helping the health talk to finance, health ministries and departments to be able to talk to civil society and bringing public and private together. And I just want to say that I have gained so much from this platform. I hope that as you think about this, as you implement the Strategic Institute, please keep those nuggets and the gold that you have built here in Thailand and keep those really special values and we are very committed to working with you, both as the World Bank and also as the partner of the Tokyo Knowledge Hub. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nin. Thank you for your impressive remark that touching on very important points like trust, failure, and leadership. We hope you can continue to support the PMAC SI for the long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the conclusion of the today's side meeting, marking both the 25-year journey of the IHPP Foundation and the launch of the PMAC Strategic Institute.
Together, these moments reflect a shared commitment to strengthening the link between evidence, policy, and people, and to advancing health system through sustained collaboration and capacity building. To close today's session, it is our honor to invite Dr. Vijan Panit again to deliver the concluding remarks, bringing together reflections on IHPP 25 years of contribution and the future vision of the PMAC Strategic Institute. Dr. Vijan, please.
Dear friends and colleagues, though we have reached the conclusion of this evening, I feel energized. We began today by reflecting on the journey of health policy and systems research, including 2.5 decades of International Health Policy Program Foundation or IHPP. And we end by looking forward to a new horizon with the PMAC Strategic Institute. Today has reaffirmed our beliefs that have allowed our network to thrive and grow thus far. That's why research methods are vital. Capacity is truly about people, organizations, and long-term relationship. Hearing from various perspectives really highlighted how vital collaborations are to sustain and wide-reaching impact. A key takeaway for me has been evidence only matters when there is trust in our institutions, generating and using that evidence. I thank you all of your shared beliefs, and I hope to see the health policy and systems research network continue to grow, with new relationships fostered and new roots planted. I also thank all of our partners who continue to turn data into real value, shaping and reforming lives nationally and globally. In light of new and persistent global challenges, I remain hopeful for the next generation of researchers to take the mantle and continue to build a healthy and equitable world. Especially now, with the PMAC Strategic Institute, which promises to be a space celebrating the spirit of collaboration. As we prepare to officially close the meeting, I want to leave you with this thought. Trust in evidence, trust in people, and above all, trust in collaboration. We cannot better the world alone, so let us lean on each other. Let us leave this room with faith in our ability to translate our knowledge and skills into sustainable health and well-being for all. Thank you for your presence and your wisdom and your friendship. This side meeting may be closed, but our shared commitment to a healthier future remains very much open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vijan Phanit. Thank you to all of our speakers for your insights, and of course to all participants for staying with us. We really appreciate. Thank you so much.
We hope everyone enjoy this session and have a good rest after this long session. Thank you very much.